Hello and welcome to my instructional video, how to cast on for my knit along. This is my first video, so I hope that I do a good job. Here's my two colors of yarn. It's called for in the pattern. This for me is going to be color A, and this for me is going to be color B. But if I wanted to switch it up, I could do that. It's totally personal preference in this pattern. I have my knitting needles, which these are double pointed bamboo needles. These are my favorite kind. Oops, everybody likes different kinds of needles. You always have two, whether they're straight needles or if they're circular, it doesn't matter. You still have two with a straight end here. So these are what I'm using today. Here's my pattern. And if we look at our pattern, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. I mean, if you have any questions about this, about gauge and things like that, we're not going to worry about that for this. I'm just going to teach you how to knit. We can worry about gauge later on. So I'm going to go right here to where it says scarf. And the first thing it says is with A, cast on 16 stitches. So let me put my camera down here. And I'm going to take my color A, which is my purple. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail here. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm going to loop it around my fingers like that, and then just kind of pull up a little loop through that. So I kind of have a little slip knot here. Okay. And then I'm going to take one of my needles. I'm going to slip the slip knot over and give it a little tug and have my first stitch. Make sure you hold this tail in your left hand like this against your needle. You do not want to knit with this. So what's going to happen is before you get all your stitches on there, whoops, I'm a little tangled. Before you get all your stitches on there, you're going to run out of yarn and you're going to say, oh no, I don't have enough yarn to finish. You're going to have to take it all apart and start over. Okay, so I tend to hold it down here. And I don't know if you just saw that. I slid this one needle in next to the other and I loop the yarn around and whoops, let's try that again. Slide it up, loop around. I'm going to pull it down and through. I think I got my thumb in the way here, so let's watch it again. I'm going to hold this out of the way so you can see it. I'm going to slide the needle up. I'm going to loop the yarn around and pull it through, and then I just slide it over. Okay, and then I'm going to do it again. And this is how you cast on your stitches. You're building up your stitches from the one below it. I really like this yarn because it's very forgiving. If you make a mistake, you're not going to see it. A little bad with this. It's also bulky, so with the larger needles like this, it knits up pretty fast, and it's very soft. I really love this. It's very soft. I've made quite a few things out of this. I made a poncho for my daughter, Addie, and it's super soft. And I made a baby blanket. Actually, I made two baby blankets out of this for my kids. So I really do like this yarn. So let's see, we're going to keep going. I have this bad habit that if I don't count my stitches out loud when I'm casting on, I tend to forget how many I did. So in a second here, we're going to count them to make sure how many we're doing. Right. And you know, as you make these loops, you just give this a little bit of a tug there to make sure you're getting it on. Okay, let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so 4 more left. Now, you want to make sure you don't do these too tight. If you do these too tight, it's very hard to get the needle in to do the next stitch. So, and especially, you know, right now it's not too bad because you're kind of working at the end, but when you start getting into the other stitches, you certainly don't want to have it too tight, because struggling to get your needle in it makes your job so much harder when, whoops, you're trying to knit. So, nice loose cast on is always the best way to do it. Alright, so let's count our stitches. Again, I always double check. I always count again, because you never want to, you know, get into your pattern. This one's simple, so if you had 15 or you had 17, it would not be that big of a deal, but you really don't want to, ever, you know, mess this up when you're doing a more complicated pattern. So always count again after you get them all on there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Look at that, I had 17. So I'm just going to pull this up and back off. There you go. And there you go. There is your cast on stitches for our Afghan scarf. Okay, you see that? There you go. Alright, and now on to learning how to knit.